So I'm in the middle of building this wheel. I've already laced it, gone around and done equal tension on the spokes, and I've already done one round of lateral truing, one round of radial truing. I checked the dish, it was awful. I checked the tension of the spokes. I went through and balanced the partner spokes. So I'm happy about that, that all the tension on the partner spokes is balanced. Now I'm going back to my second round of lateral truing. So this is my Park wheel truing stand, which is okay. A little worn out. I'm getting up here to do some lateral truing. Now, I mentioned earlier that the dish was terrible. I want to tighten all the spokes on this side to pull the rim over this way. I would like to do that. I would like to go around and tighten all these like 1.5 times each to adjust the dish. But when I looked at the tension on these spokes with my Park TM1, this might be my favorite tool in the shop. It's one of them. The tension on the spokes on this side here were like 26, 28, 29, 25 in there. That's pretty high. So I can't just willy-nilly go around and tighten all of them 1 or 2 turns each, because that would make them too tight. If you look at this chart here, for 13 gauge spokes, you don't want the value on the Park TM1 to be more than 31 or 32 for steel 13 gauge spokes. However, having said that, I'm going to put myself in a position to tighten the ones on this side. So when I do that, because when you're doing the lateral trimming of a wheel, if I set it up like I'm doing here, I'm going to do this and listen for scratching. When I do hear scratching, I'm going to have to tighten the ones on this side, which will help me with my dish situation. So I'm going to go like this and do a preliminary check here. Looks like it might be off as much as like 3 or 4 millimeters. So there's a lot of action here. So I'm going to keep doing this until I just hear some scratching. There's a whole lot of scratching. That's too much, so I need to bring this out a little bit. Okay, good. I like that amount of scratching. So when I go like this, starts to scratch. It's definitely starting to scratch here, and I would need a continuous scratch. Stop scratching there. So it's these 3 definitely need an adjustment, and the ones on either side of it will get a little bit of an adjustment. So these 3 here need a significant adjustment. So to pull the rim over toward the camera, I'm going to tighten this. This is 1 of 3. I'm going to tighten it. A half is a gradual adjustment. It needs more than that, but we'll just go a half at this point. So I tighten all the ones on this side. A half. And then I'll loosen the one where it was scratching the same amount, which is a half. Here I am loosening it a half. And the 2 that were just almost in the scratching range, but not quite, they're going to get half that adjustment. So on the side where it was scratching, I'm going to loosen a 1/4. So that was the one that was outside the zone. These 3 got the adjustment. This one here is just outside the zone of scratching. It gets half the adjustment that I made, which is loosening a 1/4. So let's see if it's still scratching. It's not. So that fixed it nicely. So now I'm going to do this and spin around until I hear scratching. There isn't any scratching. That one adjustment there, just beautiful. So I'm going to bring this in until it just barely starts to scratch. Okay, that was good. So when I go like this, good, I got something to do here. That's not much of a scratch. So I go like this and I'm gonna mark which spokes are scratching. And I've determined that it's these two. So it's scratching on the side away from the camera. So that wasn't that big of a scratch, so I'm just going to tighten this 1/4 to pull it away from the scratching side. I tighten the away side and loosen the side where it was scratching. So let's see if it still scratches. It does not. Now I'm just looking here to see where I'm at with my lateral truing, and I would have a run out of like maybe as much as 3 millimeters. So I'm just going to keep doing this, doing my lateral truing. So I'm going to bring this in a little bit until I hear some scratching. That's a lot of scratching. That's too much. Let me see if it's a continuous scratch. It's not a continuous scratch. So I'm just going to focus on the one scratch there. I need it to be continuous. And it stopped there. So these 4 spokes need an adjustment. It was scratching on the side where my hand is, away from the camera. So these 4 need adjustment. Let me check that again. Yep, it's these 4. Starting here. So I'm saying 1 of 4. So 1 of 4, tightening on this side, 1/4 turn. 2 of 4 is on this side, so it gets loosened. So I tell myself loosening 2 of 4. Now I'm into 3 of 4, but it's on this side, so I'm tightening. So I tell myself tightening 3 of 4 and loosening 4 of 4. Okay. Now let's see where we have scratching. There's the scratching. It's definitely here. Stops. So let's identify where it is. It's just these 2. So it's scratching on this side. So the side away from the scratch, I'm going to tighten 1/4 turn. I want this nipple wrench to be fully seated. That was the nipple that was giving me trouble. Tightening. And then loosening. 1/4 turn. So let's see what the effect that made was. It's not scratching anymore. Okay, the lateral truing is coming along very nicely. So I'll pause the video at this point.